Want to retire at 40? Here's the no BS roadmap that actually works. People love the idea of early retirement, escaping the rat race, traveling the world, waking up with no alarm. But most of them are chasing shortcuts, lottery ticket schemes, crypto hype, or gurus selling fantasies. The truth is far less glamorous, but far more achievable. If you start in your 20s, follow a realistic plan, use simple math, and stay consistent for 15 to 20 years. Financial freedom at 40 is not a pipe dream, it's a formula. Financial freedom simply means one thing: your passive income exceeds your expenses. That's it. It's not a millionaire badge. It's not driving a Lamborghini. It's not sitting on a beach drinking cocktails while money magically appears. It means you control your time because your investments work harder than you do. Let's break the math down, because math doesn't care about feelings, it just works. If your lifestyle costs $4,000 per month, which is pretty normal for someone living comfortably but not extravagantly, that's $48,000 per year. At a safe withdrawal rate of 4%, you need roughly $1.2 million invested to cover that. But if you use dividend-focused strategies and get closer to an 8% yield from a combination of dividend stocks, ETFs, and maybe some rental income, you only need around $600,000 working for you. That number suddenly becomes realistic, even for ordinary salaries, if you give yourself enough time and save aggressively. That brings us to the first phase. The first 5 years are where most people fail, because this is the grind stage, the ugly part nobody posts on Instagram. These years are all about aggressive accumulation. Your goal is to dramatically increase your income, dramatically decrease your expenses, and build a ridiculous savings rate. When you're young, your biggest financial advantage is not your salary, it's your flexibility. You can live cheaply, you can move, you can take risks, you can work extra hours, you can freelance, you can build skills faster than older workers. So in this phase, you lean into that. You focus on maximizing your income by switching roles every 2 to 3 years, negotiating hard, building marketable skills, getting certifications, taking freelance gigs, and creating at least one side hustle. Most people underestimate how quickly you can double your income in your 20s simply by being intentional. At the same time, you aggressively minimize expenses. If your goal is financial freedom, you cannot afford lifestyle inflation in your 20s. I live with roommates, drive a used car, avoid unnecessary subscriptions, cook at home, don't waste money trying to impress people, build a savings rate of 50% or even 60% if you're ambitious. It sounds extreme because it is extreme, but early retirement is an extreme goal. You don't save like the average person if you don't want the average life. Every dollar saved in these early years has decades to grow. During these first 5 years, you also focus your investing on growth stocks and ETFs, assets designed to build your net worth quickly rather than pay you passive income right away. This is the foundation. You're building the machine that will eventually create the dividends. Think of this like planting trees. You don't plant saplings and expect fruit immediately. You let them grow tall first, then they'll feed you for the rest of your life. Years 6 to 12 are where things start shifting. You're no longer in the extreme grind phase, but you're not financially free yet. This is the transition period, and it's arguably the most important stage because this is where people either accelerate or burn out. Your income should be significantly higher by now because of career growth, promotions, or switching industries strategically. You've built valuable skills, and your earning power is stronger than ever. Your expenses should still be relatively controlled because you've developed good habits. In this phase, you start shifting some of your investments from pure growth into dividend-paying assets. This includes high-quality dividend stocks, dividend ETFs, REITs, or even rental properties if that fits your personality and risk tolerance. The reason for this transition is simple. You're turning your portfolio from a wealth-building engine into an income-generating engine. You diversify your income sources so you're not dependent on only one stream. This is when you might build a small business, an online income stream, royalty-based income, or a part-time freelancing skill that you can switch to later for Coast FIRE. The goal here is balance. Your net worth grows, your income streams multiply, and your stress slowly decreases as you realize that financial freedom is no longer a dream, but a destination you're getting closer to every year. Years 13 to 20, this is the final push. You're no longer focused on maximum growth or maximum frugality. You're focused on optimization. Your portfolio should now be shifting heavily toward dividend growth stocks. Companies with decades of increasing payouts like Johnson & Johnson, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Procter & Gamble, Realty Income, and others with highly reliable cash flow. Dividend growth becomes crucial because you want your income to rise faster than inflation. You also build a cash reserve, usually 6 to 12 months of expenses, to protect yourself from market shocks when you finally pull the trigger and leave your job. You also start optimizing taxes, using retirement accounts strategically, tax loss harvesting, Roth conversions if possible, or even geo arbitrage, living in a cheaper city or country to stretch your dividends further. This phase is about making your freedom bulletproof. But we have to be honest, this journey comes with lifestyle trade-offs. You may delay buying a house, you may skip expensive trips, you may drive older cars, you might choose work that pays more instead of work that feels fun, you may lose some friends who don't understand why you're so committed, but the question is it worth it? Only you can answer that. But imagine being 40 years old and never needing to work again unless you choose to. Imagine waking up and deciding how your day goes. Imagine having time, the most valuable currency in the world. Not everyone wants full fire. Some choose coast fire, where you work a lower stress job because your investments are already large enough to grow to retirement on their own. You no longer grind or hustle. You just coast. For many people, that's the perfect balance of freedom and structure. Let's look at the numbers so you understand exactly what it takes. If you make $50,000 a year and save 50%, you can reach financial independence in 17 years. If you save 60%, you can do it in 14 years. If you make $80,000 and save 50%, you can retire in 13 years. If you make $100,000 and save 50%, you can retire in about 12 years. These aren't fantasies. These are calculations from financial independence charts used worldwide by the FIRE community. The numbers don't lie. Compound growth is also on your side. If you invest $15,000 a year from age 22 to age 40 with an average 8% return, you end up with about $600,000. Add dividends, reinvestments, raises, bonuses, side income, and the fact that most people eventually invest more than $15,000 a year. And hitting $800,000 to $1.2 million becomes extremely achievable. There are countless real-world examples. Software engineers, teachers, nurses, accountants, even bartenders, people who lived simply, invested aggressively, and retired in their 30s or 40s. But the most important part of this entire roadmap isn't the math, it's consistency. Nothing will test your patience more than watching slow progress in your early years. In the beginning, your portfolio grows because of your contributions. After a decade, it grows because of compounding. After 15 years, it grows because money is working harder than you ever could. The journey gets easier as you move forward, but the hardest part is sticking with it when progress feels invisible. Eventually, a moment comes where your investments start earning more per month than you used to earn at your first job. Then they earn more per month than your current job. Eventually, they produce enough to cover your expenses. When that day comes, you'll feel what real freedom actually is. Financial freedom at 40 is not about escaping work forever. It's about escaping the need to work. You can still pursue passion projects, part-time work, creative goals, or even full-time work if you enjoy it. The difference is that it's your choice, not your obligation. And once your life is built on choice instead of scarcity, everything changes. Your stress goes down, your relationships improve, your health gets better, you start living intentionally. That's the real point of financial independence. A life you choose, not a life you endure. And here's the part nobody talks about. Hitting financial freedom by 40 isn't just about money. It's about identity, because for the first 10 years, you're basically choosing to be different from almost everyone around you. While your friends are upgrading their phones every 6 months, you're putting that extra 40,000 rupees into an index fund. While colleagues move into luxury apartments to treat themselves, you're staying put, maybe even house sharing, because you know every rupee not spent today is a soldier working for you tomorrow. This mental shift, seeing money as something that works for you instead of something you work for, is the single biggest predictor of whether someone reaches financial independence early. The compounding effect on your psychology is just as important as the compounding effect on your investments. In year 1, saving 50% feels impossible. In year 3, it becomes normal. By year 7, you'll start feeling strangely uncomfortable when you aren't investing. You'll reach a point where buying something you don't need creates more anxiety than joy because you understand the opportunity cost so clearly. This is when the FIRE mindset really locks in. You stop seeing a 2,000 rupee dinner as a meal and start seeing it as 2 shares of a dividend ETF that will pay you for life. You stop caring about what others think your life should look like because you're building something bigger than flexing on Instagram. Control over your time. One of the underrated parts of this journey is career optimization. Most FIRE discussions obsess over cutting expenses, but the truth is, you can only cut so much. Increasing income has no ceiling, and your 20s are the prime time to make sharp, aggressive career moves. Negotiating your salary by even 15% in your early 20s can have a 6-figure impact over a decade. Learning an in-demand skill, coding, project management, sales, AI tools, digital marketing, data analytics can bump your income trajectory dramatically. Pair this with strategic job hopping every 2 to 3 years, and suddenly your earning potential skyrockets far faster than any slow frugality trick. FIRE isn't about being cheap, it's about being intentional. And the most intentional thing you can do is build a high-income skill set early. But income alone won't get you there. The people who actually achieve financial freedom operate with systems, not motivation. They automate transfers to their investment accounts so the decision isn't emotional. They track their savings rate monthly, just like athletes track performance metrics. They review their net worth quarterly. They know exactly how much they need to invest each month to hit their year 20 number. They treat their personal finances like a business, because without systems, lifestyle creep will eat you alive, even if you earn a lot. By year 8 or year 10, something interesting happens. Your investments start to feel like a second income source. Once your portfolio hits 30 to 40 lakh rupees, a typical 7 to 8% annual return means it starts making 2 to 3 lakh rupees a year without you touching it. And as you slowly shift into dividend-growing companies, high-quality businesses with consistent payout histories, your portfolio starts throwing off real cash. At first it's tiny, maybe 2,000 rupees a month, then 6,000 rupees, then 15,000 rupees. By the time you're in phase 3, the dividends themselves are covering 30 to 50% of your monthly expenses. That's when the FIRE dream stops being a concept and starts being a spreadsheet you look at and go, holy shit, I'm getting close. Of course, no roadmap is perfect. Life will throw curveballs, a job loss, a medical situation, family responsibilities, personal burnout. This is why the final push toward freedom, years 13 to 20, is all about resilience. Emergency funds become non-negotiable. Insurance stops feeling optional. Your investments become more conservative, not because you're scared, but because you've already won most of the game. You realize the goal isn't to be the richest person at 40. It's to be the one with the most control, the one whose mornings aren't dictated by alarms or managers or deadlines, the one who owns their time. Another aspect worth understanding is the emotional shift that happens once you cross the threshold into Coast FIRE. For many people, this hits around age 32 to 35. Coast FIRE means you've already invested enough that, even if you stop investing completely, your portfolio will grow to your target number by age 40 due to compounding alone. That's the moment life feels lighter. Suddenly, you can switch to a lower stress job. You can freelance. You can take a sabbatical. You can pursue work that's meaningful instead of work that just pays well. Coast Fire isn't full retirement, but it's the first taste of freedom, and for many people, it changes everything. Some even choose to stop chasing full fire entirely because Coast Fire gives them just enough breathing room to craft a life they love without waiting for some magical future date. But let's be honest, fire isn't for everyone, and that's okay. Most people want financial freedom, but very few want the lifestyle trade-offs. And that's the real truth behind why fire works. It filters out the dabblers. Only people who are willing to delay gratification, think long-term, and live differently are able to pull this off. But the beauty of the fire roadmap is that even if you follow it imperfectly, even if you only hit 60% of your goals, you're still drastically better off than someone who never tried. Even reaching financial stability by 35, partial freedom by 38, or full freedom by 45 is a win. The roadmap doesn't punish you for being human, it simply rewards you for being intentional. Toward the end of this journey, around years 17 to 20, you'll undergo a surprising emotional transformation. Money stops being the main character. You start thinking about time, health, relationships, creativity, travel, purpose. You realize the entire point of FIRE wasn't early retirement. It was building a life where work becomes optional. That's why the last few years before hitting the finish line feel different. You're no longer grinding to escape a job you hate. You're building a future because you can see it unfolding clearly. You're investing not just for returns, but for peace of mind. If you're in your 20s right now, you have the most valuable asset in the world, time. Use it. Start aggressively. Stay consistent. Avoid lifestyle inflation. Invest every month no matter what the market does. Keep your expenses lower than your income. Build the habits now that your 40-year-old self will thank you for. Because the person who starts in their 20s doesn't need luck. They just need the discipline to follow the plan. And this is the no get-rich-quick truth. Financial freedom at 40 is earned, not bought. But once you earn it, no one can take it from you.